Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here to some more Fan Fridays, this time bringing you Double Hypnosis. So I find the Double Hypnosis a bit interesting because with the Dark Void nerf and the Dark Void Smeargle nerf, it's something that can definitely be explored, but it hasn't really been looked into too much, even though it does make sense. The low accuracy is a bit of an issue, but now we have Z Hypnosis, you can gain even on Hypnosis Miss, and if it lands, that's going to go even better. Also, Mega Evolution on the first turn means that Hypnosis on the Mega Gengar also going to be very solid. Like, if just one of them lands for the first turn, which is pretty possible, then I think we're actually looking at a pretty solid battle that can just kind of snowball from there. And we're just going to watch it, because I have a couple of ideas. I want to make sure it kind of unfolds. Let's say Gengar lands his, Z Xurkitree misses theirs. Well, that means there's only one Pokemon potentially trying to KO both opponents, and there's still a lot of benefit being thrown across. So yeah, Arceus is going to miss right there. Or, not Arceus is going to miss. The Gengar is going to miss. Arceus is going to Judgment. Judgment onto Xurkitree for some massive damage. And the opponent not wasting any time. Wait, never mind. That's not the opponent. That's us going for the Z on the Xurkitree. I thought that was a Z move on the Zekrom, but yeah. So that's going to be Z Hypnosis from the Xurkitree. And this one actually lands. So that's what I mean. Like, we just need one to land, and then cool things are going to happen. So outspeed means that, yeah, only one damage turn happened. And now we have Gengar still able to Hypnosis. We have Xurkitree with all the speed that it needs. And Xurkitree is going to take that into a Thunderbolt right now for damage on Arceus, and it's solid as Gengar goes for Dazzling Gleam. So also split damage means Arceus goes down next turn, Zekrom goes down next turn. Arceus has the Judgment though, so never mind. That means Xurkitree will go down. But it's also kind of like the gambles that you could take. Like, one option could have been Gengar going for Hypnosis onto Arceus, then a Tail Glow, and then you have options to like Discharge from massive speed boost on top of damage, and there's still a Pokemon asleep. So Garchomp gets damage, take out the Arceus, Gengar the Dazzling Gleam, we know the damage is there, as well as the speed. So it's like good support, good team mechanics. And then we get to see what Arceus does in return. So Arceus now has the Judgment, and that's going to be targeting Garchomp. So it looks like the Gengar is kind of being ignored. And then that's going to be a Dragon Claw to finish off Arceus. Also, with Gengar on the field, the opponent can't switch, so they're stuck as an asleep Pokemon. That makes the strategy even better. Let's say you get successful Double Hypnosis, or even like just a good first turn. Well, yeah, now they're stuck asleep, so you could either divert that attention to just raw damage, or also having some extra support going on. Like Xerneas, you want to make sure that thing gets Hypnosis. If that's successful Hypnosis, Dragon Claw from Garchomp onto the Rayquaza could be interesting. So yeah, Gengar, Hypnosis. Actually going to target the Rayquaza, though. And then that might be just because, like, Garchomp can Poison Jab the Xerneas. Yeah, like, however you want to divvy it up, because I didn't know the moveset. Yeah, that's still good damage on the Xerneas, making it a little harder for it to take off. And Xerneas actually going to go for the Moonblast. So no Geomancy setup. Moonblast onto Gengar. That's not going to be a big enough hit, and that's pretty much just going to swing the battle now, because we already know that Garchomp has outspeed onto Xerneas, and we know that Gengar, Dazzling Gleam, Rayquaza's already asleep, so that just makes it better. And Dazzling Gleam, not going to be enough to take down Xerneas. Rayquaza takes a little bit of damage as well, but next turn, Rayquaza goes down, there's still an extra Pokemon, and it's really interesting to see this Gengar run like a damage supportive role. That it has Hypnosis support, that at any time it just says Hypnosis, and then bad things are going to happen, and then the Dazzling Gleam, surprising amounts of damage, that it does find the right amount of coverage, and then works out against the meta, and then Xurkitree. So yeah, it seems like Xurkitree did less than it was supposed to do, but this still turned out to be a pretty successful battle. So now Gengar has a Shadow Ball. Why screw around if you're faster than it, and you know the damage could be there? Except when it isn't. And then Dragon Claw. Done. GG, just like that. Very interesting battle, so I'm really excited to see more of this Double Hypnosis. I think it's a really cool idea. Alright, let's just get into the battle that also has another Arceus, Ash Cat Pikachu, and then Legendary and Mythical Pokemon fun. So yeah, it looks like this does pretty well on the free battle spot in a really wacky kind of setup. Anything can happen when you're dealing with all those Legendaries and whatnot. So, let it begin. Is that a Water Arceus? I don't think I've ever seen Water played Arceus. It looks cool though. But I don't really know the benefit except for getting absolutely bodied by Xurkitree. So it looks like your target selection can play out pretty well, that you just use the Gengar, try to put Arceus to sleep. If you get that first turn sleep, then the game really tilts into your favor. So Gengar now lands at Hypnosis, Arceus will fall asleep, Xurkitree is pretty safe this turn, free to just kind of Z Hypnosis. If Pikachu goes down, then the game is completely over, done, GG, wrecked. Pikachu has the Thunderbolt, but there's really no reason to target the Xurkitree. Gengar doesn't even take more than half of its hit points, and that is going to be the Z Hypnosis, giving speed to outspeed the Arceus. Unfortunate water typing. Like I said, I've never seen the Z Arceus, or not Z Arceus, the water Arceus, but yeah, that's going to happen. And both Hypnosis do land, so the opponent is about to have a very bad time, and they can't switch because of the Shadow Tag. So that's why I think that just adds an extra layer to this that's pretty dope. And that's Xurkitree with the Tail Glow. So you can either gamble to try to have Gengar put it... Oh, that's filthy. Oh, that's where it is, guys. Oh, that's wrong. So wrong. So you get the double sleep, and then that's where the Tail Glow in the Psych Up is. I was thinking, no, Gengar could just Hypnosis. Nah, you want to go for the full all-in. Gengar, Shadow Ball, Pikachu's dead. Thunderbolt, Arceus is dead. No Focus Sash on Pikachu. It's just gone. Oh, damn. That's filthy. I imagine that the battle just ends right there. That the opponent doesn't have enough to... Scarf Garchomp is about the only thing that can save from this team. Because then it gets to double Earthquake and try to get some big damage across. But the split damage... Does Xurkitree survive that? I don't think so, but yeah, that's something. And then Rayquaza. So now, Rayquaza gets nuked by the Dazzling Gleam, and Gengar could Shadow Ball as well. You know, I don't even need a Dazzling Gleam. Shadow Ball, that's going to be enough to take down the Rayquaza. Thunderbolt, that's going to be enough to take down the Meloetta, because we're dealing with, or Hidden Power. So many options, so much silliness, and that's going to be enough to take it down. So yeah, when you're dealing with one of the highest special attack Pokemon in the game, with a Tail Glow like that, it just gets out of control quick. Dang. Okay, that was just a stomp. So yeah, Scarf Chomp does take down the Xurkitree in double, so that's kind of it. Like, that's all you got. You have to have a Scarf Earthquake to kind of remove as much as you can off of that team. I was like looking into Xurkitree because if you're speed boosting and you're also tail glowing, then maybe you could also put in like some kind of hit point investment or defensive investment to try to survive the Garchomp, but you have to overinvest into it too much. So I'm just going to say that, yeah, it's very realistic that the Xurkitree just goes down right there. However, I want to take this to the next step. You know, it's the same idea, different Pokemon, and you can kind of alter it and still make it very successful. That this applies to almost any Hypnosis Pokemon, that it can Z Hypnosis for a speed boost. The thing about the Xurkitree, though, is while having limited coverage, it's pretty much Thunderbolt and Hidden Power, and then Tail Glow and Hypnosis. Like, that's your moveset right there. But while having limited moveset, Xurkitree has the absurd amount of special attack that can be used for nuking, but you could go for a higher coverage Pokemon that just needs a +1 from the Z Hypnosis, and still a lot of options for Hypnosis Pokemon if you want to go and use it for your battles. Like the Gardevoir, you know, it can Z Hypnosis, Calm Mind, not as much insane damage for as much snowballing, but it still works and still has like varied coverage with Psychic, Hidden Power, and then the Fairy typing. So there are a couple of options, but also one thing to not look over is Sleep Powder. Sleep Powder does the exact same thing on better accuracy. We have 75% accuracy to put the opponent to sleep, and unless they bring Double Grass, then Gengar just Hypnosis is Grass Pokemon. Sleep Powder for the extra accuracy is going to be pretty solid, and then we'll see that raises your speed stat by 1 stage. So you can already bring a fast Sleep Powder Pokemon like the Jumpluff and just kind of stack on top of it. Crobat's also fast Pokemon, so you don't even need a Mega Gengar. Just bring Crobat for the potential to put the opponent to sleep. Crobat, since it's not Mega, you could maybe even go for a Wide Lens. Just get slight extra chance of accuracy out of it, or you just run Crobat for the damage. Any of these Pokemon gaining speed boost could work out. So yeah, the strategy can go to the next level. There's also Pokemon like the Vivillon. Vivillon does have the Compound Eyes, so making a very high chance that the opponent goes to sleep at the sacrifice of speed. So you could go... well, actually, you wouldn't even sacrifice speed. You just Z-Hypnosis it. But then it's not as bulky, so you might need Focus Sash. But then Gengar, or the fast Pokemon, putting the opponent to sleep. There's a lot of really weird things that could go right in Snowball. There's also a lot that seems like it could go wrong with this strategy as well. And it just kind of opens up as we understand more about what people are doing in Pokemon. So not the perfect replacement to Dark Void, of course, but there's still potential for Double Sleep out there that can be pretty successful. That was it. Also, I do want to show you guys, there were some extra codes. I did have some issues with the codes, though, like when these, I think the surviving... No, the third one. This code didn't work for me, and you can check out that code if you want to check it, if you want to see some more battles from this. But I think that's just a nice little way of ending it. No, we get the quick battle, we get the explanation, and then we see it fail, kind of work, whatever, and we talk about where it can go from the future. That's the idea about Fan Fries, that you explore and expand, then maybe you'll get featured yourself. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.